Hey folks, it's Samuel Huber from Huber Family Adventures on Instagram, Samuel Huber on YouTube, Samuel Huber on Facebook, and www.samuelhuber.net. I'm here with yet another episode of Heroes of Autism. I'm here with Chris, all the way from South Africa. She was studying psychology, but is now switching to duology. Did I say
Yeah.
that right? Yeah.
Yeah.
And she's a self-diagnosed person on the spectrum, and we're going to learn a little bit about the culture in South Africa and why it's hard to get properly diagnosed. But first, Chris, can you tell us a bit about yourself?
Okay. I'm not sure exactly what to talk about, but yeah, I live in South Africa in Johannesburg. I am technically fourth year university student now. I just finished my degree. I am very into animals and reptiles, specifically reptiles, and also into like drama and music, and yeah.
That's cool. So what can you tell us about South Africa and autism? Because we were talking right before we went on air about how hard it is to get diagnosed in South Africa.
Yeah, it definitely is. One of my friends is autistic. I've pretty much figured it out. You can tell.
Mm-hmm.
Especially, we find our own. And I think it's not very spoken about. Like, no one talks about it here. So when I, told one of my friends that I was thinking about the possibility, she was like, "Oh, no, I don't think so." Because there's this idea of the male autistic. It's
Mm-hmm.
that is the mold, and that's what everyone sees. And here I think it's so underdiagnosed, probably just from lack of knowledge. There's not enough people who are interested in it
Mm-hmm.
to really put in the investigation and
Mm-hmm.
the kind of thoughts, and it worries me to some extent. Yeah.
Yeah, I can definitely see how it would bother you because in America the ratio is four boys with autism. There's a girl, but
Mm,
there's so many I met on the show, especially girls didn't get diagnosed until like their mid-20s or even
yeah.
a little later. Um, I think it's because a lot of women have a really good coping skills and they learn how to use their language to mask their
Mm.
system, their aspiness, and it's a lot of them describe it as putting on a mask. Is that the case for you? Like you feel
Yeah.
like when you have to act normal, you have to put on this like
Oh,
mask.
absolutely. I've been doing drama since I was in grade 1, since I was about 7 years old. And so I learned from a very early age to mask my facial expressions so you'll see my facial expressions are like really, um, they're more than normal people would have them, just because I feel the need to constantly look some type of way. I can't just look normal.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so there's always some sort of expression, and stims were always discouraged in my house and stuff like that. Any sort of I have echolalia, so I repeat things from movies.
Mm-hmm.
Love it. It's so soothing to just repeat something over and over again, and I think that was discouraged for a long time. So I started biting my nails. You learn other ways of stimming, which isn't necessarily the best way to do it. And in school, everyone was like, "Oh yeah, but she's fine in school." I did okay in school. I
Mm-hmm.
didn't have lots of friends. Um, but you kind of learn, you watch people's expressions, you watch how people react to things, and I kind of just mimicked what everyone else did.
Mm-hmm. I totally get you on that. I didn't learn to do that until like high school. I was just
Mm,
very awkward. Like the whole idea of putting on that mask and pretending. I was, my head was in the clouds for a long time, but
mm.
it definitely sounds like really hard. Like that, you must feel like, and like outside of the fact that no one's talking to you about how you feel. which leads me to my next question. How did you arrive at the conclusion, maybe I do have autism? Like, where did you learn in
So,
class or?
oh, okay. So, it's actually such an interesting story. I had started passing out on a regular basis. Um,
Mhm.
kind of when I got hot or when I didn't eat enough or whatever, I'd just pass out. And my doctor said I might have POTS, which is a type of tachycardia. And so I looked online and I found some YouTubers who had POTS,
Mhm.
because that's my first goal of research. I go on YouTube, I find like firsthand responses.
Right.
And I found this amazing YouTuber. She sadly passed away, called Jackie, Chronically Jackie.
Mm.
And she posted a video saying that she had autism and that's how they arrived at her
Mm.
diagnosis and what she went through to get it. And I started the things that she was saying. I thought, this is like me. This is
Mhm.
me. So I
Right.
started to look at some other autism YouTubers. I found, um, no, I can't remember any of their names. Um, Dan from the Aspie world, and some of the quite popular YouTubers, and started to kind of find my identity. I did a lot of research and those like quizzes. I think I did about 4 of them, and they all came out like 87 out of 100 and 94 out of 100. And yeah, I kind of just went from there. I joined a few Facebook groups as well, tried to find my community.
Mhm. Have you been able to find your community since then?
Yeah, absolutely. So when I first saw a psychiatrist about it, they
Mhm.
were quite dismissive for it. They said, we don't really think so. And so I went on Facebook and I joined this group and I said, I'm so upset. This is really frustrating me. Like, I can't believe that no one believes me. And I had such an amazing community of people saying that it was okay. Like,
Mm.
um, I'd be okay after that. And yeah, it was so nice being able to talk to people who understood and
Mm.
like didn't think that I was lying, because that sucked.
Mhm. I can imagine. And I've often ran into that a bit myself because I'm so articulate. Because I was first diagnosed with nonverbal learning disability, which people think means I
Mm.
couldn't talk, but it means I can't read body language, which is something else entirely. So I totally get where you're coming from, of like no one believing you. I wasn't fully diagnosed until I was 14. Um,
Yeah.
so I really feel you on that. But what has the community like told you? Like, what's the best advice they've given you so far?
I think I learned a lot about my sensory needs because that seems to be one of my biggest issues. So I went wild. I was like, all right, we need Stim toys, and I went out and I found like the most amazing things. And I think that's the biggest piece of advice, is to like adapt your environment to you as much as you can. So I wear headphones in public. I do all the things that I need to do to
Mm,
deal with my sensory needs. And I think, yeah, and to just kind of accept yourself and be you.
mhm,
It's, I've faked everything for so long. I'm so
mhm.
tired of it. So to talk to people who are telling me to like chase my dreams and not put myself back,
Yeah,
it's great.
it is definitely great to be told that, because it's your journey. And um, what are some of the like big coping tips if you that you have for someone who can't get like actual therapy and actual help?
Mm.
Um, so it seems like you do it on your own. Like, how do you handle your stimming when in a healthy way if you can't get services?
So I found, this is not available for everybody, but having an animal of some sort, an animal that calms you, really has helped me. I got a snake at the end of last year, and he's done so much. The weight that he gives you, and he like squeezes you, which is exactly what I need. I'm learning to make a weighted blanket, which is my next task on my sensory journey. Um, Headphones always help. Music, your favorite music, is like the best thing I could suggest. Otherwise, the Stim toys that you enjoy. So find your sensory profile, find what you like. My main sensory seeking thing is chewing. So I bought a baby teether because we don't get chewies in South Africa much. So I found one in like the baby section.
Right.
And I know it looks like a necklace, so it's fine. So I use that. And then a whole bunch of other stuff. I've got like little squishy, fluffy squishies because I don't like normal squishies. They feel funny. And yeah, I think just find your sensory profile, find what works for you, and go from there.
So what kind of sensory things do you have? Do you have like a sensitivity to light, sound, or just touch? Which are the big ones for you?
I think mine are mainly sound and texture. Kind of a picky eater, not that bad, not as bad as my brother, but kind of a picky eater. Sound is my hearing is like intense, and smell. Most smells I can't deal with, like at all. I think vanilla is like one of the only things I'm okay with smelling. So my smell, I can't use any sensory toys that smell like something just because it's too overwhelming. And then light and sound, any loud sounds, or the kind of combination of sounds. When there's too many sounds, then it's like assault on my ears.
Oh, I've totally been there when there's just too many sounds, like too many people talking at once, just throws you off, kind of like shell shock in like a horror movie. It's very tiring.
It's quite overwhelming, so it helps to just put on my headphones and hear one loud music sound.
Do you think music really helps you come down from a meltdown? Because for people on the spectrum, we love patterns, and music has a lot of repetitive patterns. Do you think that your brain's looking to complete a pattern in order to calm down? That's why music helps you so much.
Absolutely, yeah. And I Stim dance occasionally. Agony Auti does a few Stim dancing videos, and it's so healing to just be able to move to the music, no one watching. It's all good. Like it really helps come down from a meltdown or shutdown when you need to just move.
Yeah, totally been there. So as a young adult, how have you learned to socialize? Like, are you able to make more friends now? Have you like been able to learn on your own, like how to navigate a social scene?
I think I'm doing a little bit better. I still don't feel like I'm everyone else, like I'm the same. I still feel like there's something that's barring communication between me and other people. I generally have online friends that I enjoy talking to because you can kind of just speak on WhatsApp and what you say is what you mean, and it's not really very difficult. But I do have a few neurodiverse friends, some people with anxiety and ADD, and I think I get along way better with people that have neurodiversities than with people who don't. But yeah, I think I've managed. I tend to overshare a lot in conversations, which gets difficult.
Well, that's one of the beautiful things about neurodiverse company is that it's one of the most talented groups I've ever been in, where people are really accepting of each other's differences. Because that's all you guys we have is I'm on the spectrum myself, and just meeting other people that I just have a different kind of mind and can appreciate differences is really nice. So I totally get it.
Yeah.
And then with the online stuff,
when
I
I
also
can
totally get it because you focus on the conversation rather than worrying about someone's facial expression and reading it.
It just takes away that part of the conversation, and it's all good.
Right. So let's talk about your new college pursuits. What got you into that? You said you were into animals, and
So ever since I was a kid, I've just had a thing for animals. It's always been such an important thing. And when I got my first pets at 19, because we had dogs in the house, but they were never really my pets, and I wanted my own. So I got some little Tenrecs when I was 19 from a friend of mine, and I was so excited. And I did so much research on exotic pets because I wanted to be the best mom. And I got into reptiles during that time because reptiles count as exotics, so you find them when you're searching about exotics. and I got very heavily into reptiles, and I managed to just absorb the information that I read about everything. So I started to talk about them a lot, and then every time someone would ask me a question or say something incorrect, I'd be the one to correct them.
Right.
And I realized that that's what I want to do for a living. I want to teach people about animals and conservation, and I think it's really important that we teach kids to love animals, all animals.
Yeah, I totally agree. Like our kids need to get back into nature and connect with wildlife. And that's, I can really see the passion you have for especially lizards. Like your whole face like lit up there.
I know.
So what is the best part about raising, I'm guessing you have a few lizards and pigs. What's the best part?
Oh, no, I just have a snake because my parents don't do lots of pets. I have 6 pets of my own, and then we have another 4 in the house. So we've got a bearded dragon, which is kind of the generic lizard, but she's so sweet. And then I have a snake and a bird and tenrecs and some insects, which I think are really cool.
That is really cool. Like your own little jungle in there.
Yeah, I think it's great.
Have they been helping you through this whole pandemic now that none of us can go outside?
Oh, absolutely. I talk to my bird all the time, more than I'd like to say. And my snake gets yeah, I talk to my animals. They've helped a lot. Some of them are in hibernation, so they don't want to talk to me. But
which ones are in hibernation?
My tenrecs go through a little bit of a hibernation during winter.
Gotcha. How's your family react to you talking about autism? Are they supportive?
No. My parents aren't generally supportive of most of my lifestyle choices and anything really. I still live in their house, so I kind of have to just go by their rules. And when I sought a diagnosis, they were kind of like, yeah, you see, nothing. She knew I was different. My mom knew that I was always different. But I don't think she's read a lot about it. I'm pretty sure like both of my parents are autistic as well. So like it just, there's so many traits, and it's so frustrating to watch them struggle when they could just like accept it. So they're not particularly supportive of that. I'm hoping we'll get to a place where they will be. We just got onto anxiety, so it's all good.
Yeah, I think it's just, even for, especially when it's the first diagnosis, it's very hard for parents to wrap their head around because they always see their child as their child. They don't automatically jump to autism. And it can be really hard. Like my advice is just like, it does take time, and it is a process of wrapping your head around it. And you know, my own dad probably is on the spectrum too, but he's never gotten diagnosed. It just I think it's about having an open dialogue that will get you guys over that hump and reach a place of understanding. So how many years of school do you have left?
I think I've just finished. I'm not sure where I'm going to start with zoology. There's so many different options that I could do. So I'm still investigating that because I just finished psychology and it was so overwhelming. University is a terrifying place. So I might just take a little bit of a break while we're in COVID and kind of deal with the lockdown first and then go for it. Yeah, I'm hoping to do some courses, some online stuff where I don't actually have to go to a crowded university. And yeah.
I think that's really smart to really take care of yourself during this time, because it is a very stressful time for every country.
Yeah.
And that's something often I tell a lot of my clients who are in college, like, you don't have to finish in 4 years. I don't know how long university is there, but like, go at your own pace. You'll get there when you get there.
Yeah, I was very hard on myself. It was supposed to take me 3 years, and it took me an extra 6 months. And hoping I pass the courses now, it should be finished, but who knows?
Best of luck.
I'm just doing everything at my own pace.
As it should be. And that's something you'll discover as you get older as an adult on the spectrum is, once you like accept your autism and and how it affects you. You can really work with it and really make an amazing life. And you're, help a lot of animals, I'm sure. You seem very passionate. Like that's your biggest smile. When you say anything about animals, your face just lights up.
They're so cool.
So I always like to end my interviews with the following question. If you could change the way the world sees autism in one way, what would it be and why?
Oh, okay. I wish that autism wasn't seen as a little boy who likes trains, because that's how I always saw it. And
Right.
that's why I didn't think about it earlier. And I wish we would just embrace the idea that it's so different for
Mhm.
different people, and that neurodiversity in general looks so different on other people.
Mhm.
People can't tell that I even have anxiety because I'm just that good at hiding it. And
Mhm.
I wish that everyone would be more open-minded to any kind of neurodiversity.
Mhm. Yeah, I definitely feel you on high anxiety. Like that's one of the traits of being on the spectrum, that you're able to keep that blank stare, but inside you're like,
Mhm.
ah!
Yeah.
So I totally feel you on that, and I applaud you for it. Sounds like you are trying to take care of yourself, especially when you're in a enclosed space for so long. So
Yeah,
definitely
with
kudos to that.
loud people.
Well, that's what your headphones
Yeah,
are
my
for.
family. Yeah, exactly. I have like 3 pairs of headphones. They're all useful and lots of music. So
All right. Chris, thank you for coming on my show. If someone wants to follow you or talk to you more about self-diagnosing uh, and all that stuff, how can I get a hold of you?
I'm mostly on my Instagram, so it's stim_away_autie. And then yeah, on Facebook is Christy Huddy. But I'm not really on Facebook very often. And then I have a YouTube channel. I think it's called Panda Fluff. I don't know if you'll be able to find it. It's a very old YouTube channel. I haven't uploaded in about maybe a year.
You should
So
definitely get back on it if you feel the motivation.
yeah, definitely. I'm gonna try during quarantine. We'll see.
All right. I can't wait to see your video when it comes up.
Awesome.
I'll definitely promote it if you start doing it again.
Great. Thanks so much.
All right, Chris, thank you for coming on my show. Okay, folks, this has been another episode of Heroes of Autism. Me saying goodbye to Chris from South Africa. Have a good day. All right, folks, I'll
Peace.
catch you on the next time.